Hey there, it's Brittney Kosev, and welcome back to another episode of Cut the BS, Build the Dream. I want to start with a truth most of us feel in our bones, especially if you're building a business, raising a family, or navigating a new chapter of life. Most people are just trying to get through the day, grinding all day or working at their computer just so they can get to dinner time, putting their kids to sleep, and then zoning out for hours during TV. No, I'm not talking about those people. What about the people who live extraordinary lives? The ones who live fully, deeply, freely. They don't just get through the day, they get from the day. They take something from it. They mine the lessons, they notice the details and live intentionally, and they grow because of it. And that's the difference. This episode is about what it takes to live that kind of life, not just a productive life, not just a successful on paper life, but a full life. And here's the kicker. It's not just for your benefit. When you grow as a person, that growth bleeds into every part of your world. Your kids feel it, your partner feels it, your friendships deepen, your leadership expands. The best thing you can do for the people you love is to become the best version of you. And so today, I want to walk you through the 5 things you must do to live a full life. These insights and teachings are inspired by one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all times in the personal development space, and his name is Jim Rohn. Which, if you're an Audible person, his entire works are free on Audible. So highly recommend. Here's the thing. These aren't theories. These are abilities, habits. They build a life that matters. All right, you ready? Let's go. All right, step number 1, absorb. Let life touch you deeply. Jim Rohn calls this the first ability to develop in life, the ability to absorb. And I love that word because it's not passive. To absorb something means to allow it to sink in, to resonate. And that's something most of us have stopped doing. We are bombarded with content, with to-do lists, with distractions. We go from Zoom call to cheer practice to answering texts at red lights. But when's the last time you let life touch you? When's the last time you paused to let the weight of a compliment really settle in your spirit? Or, on the flip side of that, you let the disappointment of a loss teach you something instead of just brushing it off. My kids laugh at me because I get so emotional at well, many things. My son and I were at the new Captain America movie, and I was sitting there bawling when I was watching Harrison Ford, who plays the president in the movie, lose control and turn into the Red Hulk. It was somewhat comical because Owen was munching on popcorn and excited to see the action that this caused. And I was emotional thinking about the president's relationship with his daughter. And I'm not saying sit and cry at every opportunity. What I am saying is feel the feelings, right? Live in the moment. Get perspective through others' experiences inside your day. Absorbing is about refusing to numb. It's about being able to learn from what you live. I remember a closing one time I had a few years ago, and the client texted me afterward and said, "This house saved our marriage." And that kind of stopped me in my tracks. And I'm a busy person, and I could have skimmed over it or just put a heart on it and moved on to the next transaction, the next deal. But I let that hit me. I sat there and I thought about it. That message changed the way I saw my work at that time, because what I do is I help and I coach and I go after the next deal and the next transaction. But here's what I learned. I'm not just helping people buy homes. I'm helping people change their lives. When you absorb what life is offering through emotions, conversations, outcomes, you build wisdom, you build empathy, you build depth. And so today, I challenge you to slow down enough to absorb. Let the beauty, the mess, the lessons, let that land, because life, everything begins where that's happening. All right. Number 2, reflect. Study your life to grow from it. The second ability is that the ability to reflect. And I'll tell you right now, this one separates the successful from the stuck, because life doesn't teach you through just experience alone. It teaches you through evaluated experience. Let that sink in. Evaluated experience. You can live the same year on repeat for a decade if you don't take time to reflect. Reflection is sitting down with your life like it's a puzzle you're putting together. You look at the patterns. You ask yourself the hard questions. What did I learn today? Where did I react instead of respond? What's something I'm proud of this week? Or on the flip side of that, where am I sabotaging my progress? This is not about perfection. It's about awareness. I knew a guy once that took a whole day off every month. He would put his phone away, he would disconnect, and he would go out in nature. I think he even did magic mushrooms occasionally. But anywho, he called that his time with the universe, right? With God. It was his way of reflecting, to think through the lessons he learned that month, the goals he had moving forward. And those monthly checkouts were his way of absorbing life so he could check in with himself. That's the power of reflection. And I'm not saying go and take magic mushrooms all the time. What I am saying is take time to reflect, because it'll help you catch the drift before you go off course. And it deepens your connection with yourself. If you want to live a full life, you've got to stop and study the life you're living. In my life, I end each day with journaling. What am I grateful for today? What was my greatest accomplishment? It just takes a couple of minutes, and it's just a moment of pause, a moment of reflection. At the end of the week, I take a little bit longer. It's typically on Sundays, and I do the same thing. What lessons did I learn this week? What can I improve next week? Sometimes it's like, Britt, you drank a little too much this week. Sometimes after a busy work week, I have to remind myself to prioritize my family. And sometimes I need to tell myself to get my ass in gear because I'm not hitting my work goals. I do the same thing though at the end of the month and at the end of each year. You'll be amazed what you learn when you start paying attention and reflecting. Each day of your life is like a mosaic tile. And if you don't stop and look at it often, you're not going to know what the art looks like that you're creating. All right, step 3, absorb, reflect. Step 3, act. Move while the fire is hot. So this third piece, the ability to act, this one's crucial because you can absorb the lessons and you can reflect like a philosopher, but if you don't move, nothing changes. Jim Rohn said it best: when the idea is hot and the emotion is strong, act. We've all had those moments where inspiration hits us like lightning, right? Maybe it's a business idea, a course you want to launch, a tough conversation you know you need to have, and you feel it deep in your gut. But then what happens? You wait, you get distracted, you talk yourself out of it, and that fire, it cools. That's called the law of diminishing intent. The longer you wait to act on an inspired idea, the less likely you are ever going to act on it. My sister is great at this ability to act. She gets inspired and acts so quickly. She's really just a systems genius too, but she's a creative systems genius, which I think is so cool. She wanted to create a website for our company, and next thing I knew, she had this idea. She already had a prototype ready to share with me. Inspired action is the motivation you need to capture. It can be something small like a project or a website, or something much bigger. When I had the idea to launch BK Real Estate, I sat on it for months. I had kids. I had other things I was doing, a business partner in a different company that was worried about the time that this would take away from our endeavor. So I had doubt. So what I did was I told myself I wasn't ready. And then one day, after sitting on this idea for months, I wrote in my journal, if you don't build this, someone else will, and you'll watch them live your dream. And that was it. I moved scared. I moved messy, but I moved. A life that you want, that's full, a full life requires courageous action, not just good ideas. And so if something's burning in you right now, take the first step, send the message, write the plan, make the call, get out ChatGPT and just start brainstorming. Don't just let that idea die inside of you. This happened to me the other day. I was sitting outside just gardening and taking a moment of mindfulness. And I realized quickly, I was like, I need to do this course I've been working on. And so I just sat down and I started brainstorming. The real game changers are the ones who get inspired and they motivate themselves to get in gear. So act. All right, step 4, do the best you can. Discipline as devotion. Okay. The fourth ability you need to do anything in life well is to do your best. And I'm not talking about the hustle culture or perfectionism. I'm talking about devotion, about treating your calling with reverence. Jim Rohn said, whatever you do, do it with all your might. And that doesn't mean grinding 24/7 and killing yourself. It does mean, though, that you show up consistently with integrity. It means not ghosting on your goals. It means keeping your word to yourself, others, and there have been seasons in my life, right, where I'm raising 2 little kids, I'm working 2 jobs, I'm running on fumes, and I didn't always have 100% to give to everything, but what I could give, I gave. And that's the secret. Your best is going to look different every day. But if you show up with honest effort and you tend the garden, you'll get a harvest. Because what happens if you don't tend the garden? The weeds will win. Discipline can start with small wins, right? Like making your bed every morning, getting the kids out the door without yelling at them, attacking your to-do list. If you keep stacking those small wins, they're going to compound and grow. Discipline fuels discipline. And not only do you get more done, you get something better. Doing your best builds trust in yourself. And when you make commitments to yourself and you follow through with them, you're telling yourself that you're worthy, you're valued, you are deserving. And self-trust is the foundation of a full life. All right, number 5. I think this is the most important one, maybe. Share. Pour out to make room for more. The fifth ability that you need to have is the ability to share. When you grow, don't hoard it. Don't keep your breakthroughs and your battle stories locked up. Share them, teach them, let someone else benefit from your climb. Because when you share, you not only help others, you help yourself deepen the lesson. I share my story from school librarian to broker, single mom to entrepreneur, not because I think I'm special, but because I know one of you needs to hear this. One of you needs to know that you can do it too. You never know whose life you could change because you had the courage to speak up. So don't wait until you feel like an expert. If you've learned something, you can lead someone. And every day, whatever it is you're consuming, podcasts, books, share it with someone else. Whatever I'm listening to, the books, the lectures, the podcast, I share it with my friends, my agents, my team, my family, because as I grow, they grow. And when I share with them, not only does it help them, hopefully, it cements that knowledge for me. For example, when I was learning about the law of attraction, I could not shut up about it. This was years ago. And anyone who would listen would hear me pratter on about the power of our thoughts and its relationship to the outcomes. But me sharing it over and over and over again throughout the years has helped me truly live my life with that law embedded in me. And I still have negative thoughts, dude, I'm human. But because I understand the law of attraction on this deep level, because I've taught it to so many people, I catch myself quickly when I'm spiraling, when I'm going down a negative thought pattern, and I can pull myself out. If I talk about the same concept that I recently learned about 10 times, not only do those 10 people get to hear about it, I get to repeat it to myself 10 more times. It seals it in my brain. Now imagine if those 10 people shared that concept with 10 more. Now we're changing the world. A full life isn't just about what you gain, it's about what you give. We pour from the vessel of wisdom so that there's room to continue filling it. So here it is. You have to live and want to live a full life, right? Not just a busy one or an Instagrammable one, but one with depth. And so you've got to build these 5 abilities, absorb, let life teach you, reflect, study your experiences. You learn from evaluated experiences. Move while the moment is hot. When you've got that inspiration, jump on it. Do your best. Show up for yourself for the people you love with devotion, and share, pour out so you can fill others. And I want you to remember this above all else. Your growth is not just about you. When you rise, your kids rise with you. When you evolve, your partner feels safer. When you grow, your friends grow too. Your team, your clients, your whole circle literally expands. And the best gift you can give to the people you love is a better version of yourself. So today, get something from the day. Take one step. Live the life, not just watch it. One moment of courage, one reflection, an act of sharing. That's how you build a life that's full. So, thank you for hanging out with me today on Cut the BS, Build the Dream. If this episode stirred something in you, do what I just said. Share it. Tag me, DM me, find me on Instagram. It's Brittney Kosev. And tell a friend who needs to hear this. And if you're ready to stop surviving and start truly living, come back next week, because we're just getting started. Until then, I'm Brittney Kosev. Keep growing, keep giving, and keep building the dream. Have a good one.